Today we want to review how to multiply and divide fractions, and we're going to start with multiplication. So in example 1, we have two fractions that we're going to multiply together here, 5/6 times 3/4. And our first step is just going to be to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So we'll multiply 5 times 3 and 6 times 4, and that gives us 15/24. Now let's think about whether or not this is simplified. To be simplified means that there are no common factors other than 1 in the numerator and the denominator. In this case, both 15 and 24 are divisible by 3. So let's divide our numerator and our denominator by 3, which gives us 5/8. And 5/8 is simplified because the only common factor of 5 and 8 is 1. So now, what if we had mixed numbers like here in example 2? Well, we would use the same process, except before multiplying the numerators and the denominators, we would rewrite them as improper fractions. So 1 2/3 is going to equal 1 times 3 plus 2, which is 5/3. And 3 1/2 equals 3 times 2 plus 1/2, or 7/2. Great, so we did that. Now we're going to follow the same steps that we did for example 1. So we're multiplying 5 times 7 in our numerator and 3 times 2 in our denominator. And so my last step here is going to be to rewrite this as a mixed number. To do that, I need to divide my numerator by my denominator. So 6 goes into 35 5 times, that's 30, and I have a remainder of 5. So that means that this is equal to 5 5/6. So now we're going to use the same values, but we'll talk about division. So division adds an extra step. We start out by rewriting it as multiplication where the second fraction is inverted. So instead of dividing by 3/4, I'm going to multiply by 4/3. And now the steps are the same as before. This time I have 5 times 4 in the numerator and 6 times 3 in the denominator. And I can simplify this because both 20 and 18 are divisible by 2. That gives me 10/9, and I would actually prefer this as a mixed number, so I'm going to do 10 divided by 9. 9 goes into 10 one time with a remainder of 1. So this is equal to 1 1/9. Great. So let's look at how that would be different if we had mixed numbers. Well, we would follow the same steps as before. We would rewrite them as improper fractions. So now I can easily see my problem is really going to be 5/3 divided by 7/2. Of course, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to multiply 5/3 times 2/7. So in my numerator I have 5 times 2, and in my denominator I have 3 times 7. And that gives me 10/21. And that's simplified because there are no common factors of 10 and 21 other than 1.